For a math warm-up today, I have two number sentences in each row, and I need for you to do a quick estimate for the problem and see which number sentence is true. Go ahead and pause your video and complete those four problems. So if we take a look at the first row, the problem on the left side is the true number sentence. Our second problem, the problem on the left side, is also the true number sentence. For our third row, the problem on the right side is the true number sentence. And last but not least, our problem on the right side for the last row is the true number sentence. How did you do? For our math message today, you will need your student math journal, and you're going to open that up to page 290. So if you need to pause, do that now and come on back. So if we take a look at the math message, it says, imagine you are opening an animal shelter for stray dogs and cats. Talk with a partner about the supplies you think you would need. Make a list in the space provided. So in this big area right here, I want you to make a list of things that you think you would need if you were opening up an animal shelter for stray dogs and cats. So when we think about items that you might possibly need, you may have come up with some of these, or you may have a totally different list. Well, we probably need to think about food. How are we going to feed the dogs and cats? Cleaning supplies. Dogs and cats make messes. How are we going to clean that up? If we have cats, one thing I did not put on my list was kitty litter we would probably need. Beds for the animals. People to care for the animals. Furniture of some kind, whether it be for the animals or the adults. Medical supplies. What if the animals get sick? A veterinarian. Again, what if the animal needs care because it's sick or it has something wrong with it? So this, by all means, is not all of the things that you would need, but this just gives you an idea and gets you thinking about things that you might need. So that is the math message for today. The bottom half of this page will go with your actual lesson for today. Our lesson today is spending $1 million, which sounds like a lot of money. Wish I had some of that. So we're going to be planning to spend. That's why we have that in parentheses. Why we're doing that is because we need to become better problem solvers. And how we're going to go about that, we're going to make sense of a real life situation and devise a plan to solve it. So to get started today with this lesson, we need to talk about some words that you are going to need to think about and understand in order to plan a budget to spend a lot of money. So the first word that we want to talk about is the word expense. And you may or may not have heard this word before, but money that has to be spent on something would be called an expense. So whether you need to buy cat food, dog bowls, dog dishes, brush, whatever it is that you need, that would be an expense. A budget is a plan for how the money is going to be spent. So maybe you make a budget and you're only going to allow so much money to be spent on food for the month, or you're going to allow so much money to be spent on cat treats, whatever it is. Accounting is a process of recording how money is acquired, which means how do you get it, and spent, which of course means we use the money. So accounting is that process that we use. And unit cost is going to come in handy because when you're planning for a shelter or planning to spend money the way that we're going to do today, you're going to want to know what the unit cost is. So sometimes when you buy things, there is a price per unit, or you get so many for a certain price. So that would be the unit cost. So you will be completing a form similar to this at the bottom of the page here, where you're going to put things into categories. So a category may be food, for example, or office supplies, or bedding, or furniture, okay? Then how you're going to write that out is you're going to place the item in this column. So they're giving us an example here of 6-pound bag of dog food. And the quantity, that means they're going to get 10 of those 6-pound bags. The unit cost is $19.99. That means for one bag, it's going to be $19.99. So approximate total cost, there's going to be 10 of them ordered. They're about $20. So again, they're taking that $19.99 and they're rounding it to 20. So we do 10 times 20, which is $200. So you're going to be going about this the same way as when you look at this example here. So some things for you to consider as you're doing all of this planning and budgeting. You want to think about food supplies. What would be considered food supplies? We're talking dog food, cat food. Maybe you have a snack machine for the employees that work there. Maybe you have snacks or special treats for the animals. So all of that would fall under food supplies. Cleaning supplies. You need to keep areas extra tidy when you have animals. You want to keep places sterile so they don't get sick. So you've got to think about how are you going to clean the cages? What are you going to clean them with? Paper towels, the cleaner itself, trash bags, all of those things would fall under cleaning supplies. Office supplies, you're going to have people working for you that will be at the front desk. So they'll need things like computers and printers and file folders and things like that that you would use in an office, even pens and pencils and paper and those kinds of things. Accessories, we have leashes, collars, toys, etc. would fall into that category. Medical supplies would be anything that is needed to care for those animals, like maybe they got hurt and they need their leg wrapped, or they need gauze or something like that. And of course, if you have a veterinarian working in the facility, they would need medical supplies for doing surgery if needed. Of course, you would need employees, so you've got to figure out how many you're going to need, how much you're going to pay them, things like that. Housing for the animals. We know we can't usually put dogs and cats together, so they're going to have to be separated. We'll probably need cages or tiny little spaces for each of the cats, and the dogs are going to need special places as well. We not only need furniture for people to sit on in the office, or if you have a waiting room for people to sit when they come to visit the animals, but you also need furniture for the cats and the dogs themselves. And last but not least, building costs. Where are you going to have this shelter? How much is it going to cost? Are you going to have to pay rent? Are you going to have to pay for electricity? Are you going to have to pay for water? Yes, you will have to pay for all of those things. So you'll want to consider all of this as you make your plan. Whew, that's a lot, isn't it? And you might even come up with some other things that I don't have on here. So let's summarize. Consider all of the expenses. Pay attention to unit costs, quantities needed, and categories when you go to spend all of that money. Have fun.